Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to everyone to this TSL fixture between Panchveer CC, and the Supernovas. The openers, Nikhil Lekhi and Saurabh Singh on strike. Ritain Mehta will kickstart proceedings for the bowling side. It is the Panchveer CC that have won the toss and have elected to bowl first. Ritain all set to bowl the first delivery while Nikhil Lekhi to kickstart things with the bat. Here we go, the first ball of the game. Nicely played off the pads, and that is the first runs on the board for the Supernovas. Nikhil Lekhi gets off the mark, plays it gently across the pads, clips it towards the fine leg fielder for a single, and that will bring Saurabh Singh on strike. A right-handed batsman, Ritain Mehta, a left-arm spinner, bowling left arm over the wicket. Here is Ritain to Saurabh. Oh, that's a good ball, cramping the batsman a little bit for room, but then Saurabh tucks it just between the two fielders for a single. So both the batsmen off the mark. Just to let you know, the first 6 overs are the power play where the field restrictions will be in place. Just the two fielders outside the 30-yard circle. Here is Ritain to continue, and Nikhil backs out at just the last minute. So Ritain will have to go over with his bowling action once again. This time Nikhil in readiness. All set to face Ritain. That's a good shot. Beats the fielder, and that is the first boundary of the innings for the Supernovas. That is a beautiful shot. Waited for just the right moment to free his arms, cuts it with fierce power and precision, and the fielder over there, absolutely no chance. That was traveling as like a tracer bullet. So that is the first boundary for Nikhil, the first boundary for the Supernovas, and that is a good start to their batting innings. Just the start that they would require, and that just the start that they would be having in mind as well. A fast start is paramount for the batting side, always puts them in a much commanding position. Here is Ritain to continue, and was looking for the single there, Nikhil, but was rightly sent back by his partner. So 4 balls into the first over, 6 runs given, one boundary, and a couple of singles. So Ritain will want to end this over on a much better note. He'll look to not concede a boundary in the next 2 balls of this over. Let's see how he fares. Here is Ritain. Once again, another dot ball played to the fielder at mid off. No run there. 2 dot balls in a row for Ritain, and Ritain will want to ensure that this over is completed on a high without conceding a boundary. And he plays that to the fielder. Do they take a single? Yeah, they do. So the end of the first over, the Supernovas are 7 for no loss. So a nice sedate start in the first over for the Supernovas. Vijay Bhatt is the new bowler from the other end who will take the new ball alongside Ritain. And Nikhil will keep strike by virtue of taking a single in the last ball of the first over. Vijay Bhatt right arm over the wicket. So Nikhil composing himself, gathering his thoughts as he prepares to face Vijay for the first time. Here is Nikhil taking a good look at the field, and here comes Vijay for his first ball of this game. Oh, that's a good ball first up. Just a little bit of late movement to keep the batsman interested and on his toes. And Nikhil smartly tucking and running and taking that quick single. So the understanding between the two opening batters as to when to take a single and when not to has been the defining point of their opening partnership so far. Albeit it is a very brief period of just 7 deliveries, but they seem to be in coordination with each other as Saurabh faces his second ball. Oh, and that is once again Vijay has to go through his routine once again. Saurabh backing out at just the point of release of the bowler. The bowler would not like that, I'm pretty sure. Here is Vijay bowling to Saurabh. Oh, that's a beautiful delivery. An absolute peach of a delivery. And the Supernovas lose their first wicket. Nothing much Saurabh could do there. That was an absolute rip snorter of a delivery. Let's have a look at that. Late movement just cuts the batsman in half, and the middle stump dismantled. So Saurabh has to depart. Vijay strikes first blood. The Supernovas are 8 for the loss of 1 wicket. The new batsman walking out to the middle is Hanif Sheikh, taking guard. Vijay will absolutely have his tails up. He will be relishing at the opportunity of bowling to a new batsman, and especially with the ball doing so much for him in terms of swing off the pitch and off the air as well. These are rather pleasant cricketing conditions, a little bit of nip and chill in the air, which means that the ball will do just a little bit more compared to a hot a hotter climatic condition or when the sun is beating down upon the pitch. So these are pretty good bowling conditions for Vijay to exploit. And if the first two deliveries for Vijay are any evidence of things to come, Hanif is in there for a rather testing time. Can he withstand this onslaught? And as you can see, the Panchveer fielders have a spring in their step now. They sense that another wicket is on their way, and the field has been set accordingly. There's one fielder in the deep on the offside. That's a deep point, I believe. And the other one is a deep third man, the other fielder in the deep. So two fielders, both on the offside. Will be very interesting to see what Vijay's game plan will be. His first two deliveries have come into the right-handers, and there is another right-hander who's on strike. Your guess is as good as mine. Here is Vijay, Hanif to face his first ball. Oh, that's not the ball that Vijay was hoping for, and that is gone to the boundary. Full toss, wide outside the off stump, and that is the best possible delivery for Hanif to get off the mark. Let's have a look at this once again. Too much time, Hanif picks his spot rather beautifully and has enough timing and placement to beat that fielder on third man in the deep, and that's another boundary. And to make things worse, it is a no ball above the waist height, and that is a free hit. So this is the best possible start for Hanif. And as he prepares here, this is the free hit delivery. Oh, that's a lovely shot as well. But there is protection out there in the deep, so it will be only a single. Once again, just that little hint of movement into the right-hander, but Hanif was right behind the ball, watched the ball throughout and played it rather well for a single at the point. So Nikhil, here's Nikhil now. Oh, that's another no ball. My word, that is too high. As you can see here, the ball is slipping a bit from the hands of Vijay, and after, oh, that is well high. As you can see, Vijay himself, there, there is due in play. As you can see, the fielding side already wiping the ball. We are just two balls into the second over, and the due factor will be a very major part in this contest. There's another free hit here. Gives the charge, and that will be another single on the books. So after the first two deliveries, Vijay has just got his bearings a little bit wrong. He's got his lines and lengths a little tangled up, although he will be looking to finish the over the same way he started it. Here's Hanif facing Vijay. A nicely played shot. He was looking for the single but rightly sent back. No chance of a single there. And Hanif raises his hand to acknowledge his partner's decision. Would have been a very risky single had they gone for it. Here's Vijay to bowl to Hanif once again. Final ball of the second over, and that's a beautiful shot. Swivels, pulls, pulls beautifully for six. That was an absolutely beautiful stroke from Hanif. Waits for the ball a little bit on the shorter side. Hanif picks his spot, and look at that connection. Right of the middle of the bat. No sweeter sound for a batsman than the ball hitting the dead center of the bat, and that is traveled all the way for six. So that is the second over done and dusted. The Supernovas, despite losing a wicket, have had a very confident start. They are 22 for 1. A very expensive over for Vijay, despite taking a wicket, two no balls in there, a 4 and a 6 as well. So 15 runs conceded of his first over. And this is just the start that the Supernovas were looking for. Perfect way to begin the power play, and that sets the foundation for them not only for the next 4 overs of the power play, but for at least the next 4 to 5 overs after the power play as well, on on the assumption that they do have a good power play in general. So this is a perfect start. Hanif has come and made his intentions very clear that he is going to go for the jugular, whereas Nikhil has been the sedate sheet anchor in these early exchanges with the bat. Ritain to continue with his second over, with Nikhil facing him this time around, who's batting on 8 of 8. Here comes Ritain. Nik- Nikhil looks for the big shot, and that's a quick single that's well run between the wickets. Judging the single rather quickly there did Nikhil, and brings the danger man Hanif on strike. It's currently on 11 of just 4 deliveries with a 4 and 6 already. So be very interesting to see what Hanif's intentions will be against the spinner. He's already made it clear that he will attack the faster bowling, but will he follow the same approach with spin? Let's have a look. Oh, he's gone! What a anticlimax that is! And Ritain draws first blood for his first wicket. Hanif did make sure that he would go for the attack, but this ball in particular, let's have a look at this. The ball was slower through the air. Hanif picked in the shot way too early, and his stumps went for a toss. So the Supernovas lose their second wicket. It's 2 balls into the third over. The Supernovas are 23 for 2. The new batsman out there in the middle is Rahul Rajput. Hanif, the last batter to be dismissed of 11 of 5 deliveries, just as he was looking to take the attack to the bowling side. So it is once again a case of consolidating and rebuilding the innings for the Supernovas. Ritain once again will find that his tail will be up after getting a wicket early in the over. Here is Ritain bowling to the new batsman Rahul Rajput. We wait for the umpire's signal there, and that's been given as a wide, straying down the leg side. So 2 more runs added to the tally for the Supernovas, who've now moved on to 25, but for the loss of 2 wickets. Both the opening bowlers for Panchveer getting among the wickets. Ritain getting among the wickets in this over as well. So Nikhil will be the batsman on strike, and Ritain going around the wicket to the right-hander. Plays it off the back foot, and a little bit of a misfield there, which means that the single will be eventually completed. So another run added to the total there for the Supernovas. Rahul Rajput, the new batsman who's walked out to the middle after Hanif's dismissal. Here is Ritain, who will continue to bowl around the wicket. Oh, that's a good shot. That's a very good shot. And a little bit of a misfield, but no damage done there. So they will eventually settle for a single. And Rahul gets off the mark. So all in all, this has been a pretty tidy over from Ritain. We are 4 balls into his second over. He's conceded 5 runs and taken a wicket. So this has been a good disciplined bowling performance from Ritain so far in this over. He'd like to finish it and keep it in the same manner. However, here's Nikhil. Ooh, was looking for that expansive drive, but he was beaten there by the bowler. So this is very, very good bowling from Ritain. Can he finish the over in the same manner? Or will Nikhil have the last laugh in this over by scoring a boundary of this delivery? Here's the final ball of the third over. Ritain bowling to Nikhil. Here comes Ritain around the wicket. Oh, that ball kept low. But Nikhil did well enough to get bat on ball, will eventually settle for a single. And at the end of 3 overs, the Supernovas are 28 for the loss of 2 wickets. Here is Vijay to continue with his second over, and it will be Nikhil, the batsman on strike, who's currently batting on 11 of 12 deliveries. His partner on the other hand just faced his first ball for a single. 3 overs in, it's still a decent start for the Supernovas, going at a run rate of 9.3. They look to get a few more runs in the power play. Here's Vijay. Full toss, hit it in the gap. He will eventually settle only for a single there. Vijay bowled a pretty Vijay bowled a pretty expensive first over, going for 15 runs there. He'd want to improve on that. He'd want to bowl a much more economical over this time around. And he started off well with a single of his first delivery. Here's Rahul to face Vijay. Tries to go for that expansive drive, but there is a fielder there. Just a single once again. So two singles of the first two balls. Vijay to continue with his ball with his over. Nikhil, the batsman, on strike. And again, Nikhil backs out at just the last moment. I'm pretty sure Vijay inside might be a little bit displeased about the proceedings, but he will have to bowl. He'll have to do that all over again. It's always frustrating for a bowler when these things happen. Here's Vijay to Nikhil. Oh, that one jacked back in once again, but gently tucked off his pads for another single. So three singles in the first three balls. Vijay won't mind that, given a little bit of tap he took in that first over. So three singles is not something that he will mind. And it is not something that even Panchveer will mind, given that this is the power play and that the field restrictions are still in place. Won't hurt their chances a bit here. Rahul, the batsman on strike, will be looking for a release shot here. Here's Vijay. And that's well fielded out there. A dot ball after the three singles. So this is good tight over from Vijay. He's bowling it nice and tight. He's getting a little bit of movement. Not allowing the batsman to get expansive, not allowing the batsman to get those release shots, which is the need of the hour in a power play usually. Can he continue? Here's Vijay bowling to Rahul. Oh, swings and misses. So another dot ball here. Pressure slowly and steadily adding up. 3 runs off this over. 3 singles of the first 3 balls. 2 dot balls since. Can Vijay end this over in a positive note? Or will Rahul have something to say about that? Here comes Vijay for the final ball of his second over. Rahul on strike. And that is well bowled. Eventually, they do take a single, but this is a very, very impressive over from Vijay. Just 4 runs off it. 4 overs done. The Supernovas are 32 for 2. Retain to continue bowling. It will be his third over in the power play. Now we are at a stage where quick runs will be the need of the hour. Just 2 more overs left for the power play, and they will want to get as many runs as possible in these 2 overs. Here's Ritain, left arm around the wicket, goes for the slog, but Rahul does not get any connection whatsoever. That was nicely bowled. It was a full length delivery. And to be fair, it was in the slot for Rahul to go hammer and tongs at it, but he misses that completely. Rahul knows that he's missed out there. Here is Ritain bowling to Rahul. A bit of pressure building on Rahul now. 3 of 6. That's a little too wide. He'll have to bowl that one again. You can understand the game plan for Ritain here. He's not allowing Rahul to go for that slog sweep. He's bowling it outside the hitting arc of the right hander. But that one was too wide, so we will have to bowl that one again. And that's a beautiful shot. Oh, just in front of the fielder. Will settle for a single there. But that was agonizingly close to the fielder at point there. Played it late, did Rahul. Was very slow. Decided to go for the shot at the last minute, but that was a good effort by the fielder there, but just wasn't able to reach it on time. Still, kudos to the fielding effort. And there it is. The towels have come out. There is a lot of dew on the field by the looks of it. And as the game progresses, the dew factor will be one to look out for in this game. Nikhil on strike. Again, the game plan is pretty evident. The bowling plan, again, pretty evident. Bowling it full, wide around that fourth, fifth stump line. And so far, that approach has paid off. No boundaries have come off this over so far. Just a single, two dots, and a wide. So this is a good game plan so far. However, there's still 3 balls in the over to go. Let's see how this pans out. Oh, that's a good ball. That was a little bit closer on that fourth stump mark. They will get a single, but this is good bowling. It's been 10 balls that there hasn't been a boundary scored. So every ball that a boundary hasn't been scored, the pressure will slowly and steadily build up on the batting side. And that is where lies in the window of opportunity for Panchveer to snag in a wicket or two. And you can clearly see that the pressure just getting to Rahul a bit. He's on 4 of 7 balls. He will be definitely looking for a release shot in this delivery. And as I said it, he did. But there is once again protection in the deep, so all he will have to do is settle for a single. So this has been another good over from the bowling side so far. Just 4 runs off it. One more ball to go. Can Ritain finish this over well? Or will Nikhil have the last laugh by scoring a boundary of this delivery? And on the bigger picture, Supernovas will probably want a boundary of this over, of this delivery as well, just to give them that boost as we enter into the final over of the field restrictions after this. Here is Ritain bowling to Nikhil. Do we have a big shot bubbling up here? Here's the left armour to the right-handed batsman. And that's a beautiful shot. That's pierced the gap between the two fielders, and he has the last laugh indeed. That's a beautiful shot for 4. And at the end of 5 overs, the Supernovas are 40 for 2. Let's have a look at that. Played beautifully off the back foot. Finds that gap to perfection like a surgeon. And that has raced away to the boundary for 4. So the over ends in a positive note for the Supernovas. It's 40 for 2 after 5. And it will be the same set of bowlers continuing as Vijay will also bowl his third over and what is The final over of the power play. I think Rahul knows that this is his window to maximize his aggressive strokes. There's a fielder here at long off, and there is a deep. There's a fielder at deep point, and then there is a fielder at deep third. I beg your pardon. The final over of the power play. Vijay to bowl to Rahul Rajput. Rahul is on 5 of 8, whereas his partner Nikhil is on 18 of 17. What do we expect from this over? Here comes Vijay. Rahul facing. And that's a lovely shot. Once again beats the gap, so Rahul frees his arms and gets into the party. That's another boundary. So after a period of 11 balls with no boundaries, that's 2 and 2 for the Supernovas. Beautiful shot, beautiful extension of the arms. Gets it once again just in that gap between the fielders, and that once again races to the boundary for 4. So this is the perfect start for the over as far as the Supernovas are concerned. They will be looking to make this over a big one, and they do need this as well, given the quiet overs that they had in quick succession. They will need a big over here just to get a little bit of an advantage over the Panchveer Cricket Club in this T.S.L fixture. Rahul now will certainly have a bit of confidence going for him. He's got this shot right up the middle of the bat, and this will bode well for him. As you see, he's taking his time as well. Bit of an issue with this. Here is Vijay bowling to Rahul. Oh, swings and misses there. Rahul will be disappointed that he didn't get bat on that. That ball was there for the taking, and Vijay, with that sly grin on his face, he himself knows as well that he got away with one. Here is Vijay to continue. Rahul to face. Nice shot that, but there is protection out there, so only a single. Played that well, Rahul, in all honesty. Waited for the ball to come out to him, opens the face of the bat and plays it nicely. But because there is protection out there, all he will have to do is settle for a single. So 5 runs of the first 3 deliveries, 3 more balls for the field restrictions to get over. What does Nikhil do here? I think the only logical thing for Nikhil to do here is probably continue attacking, given that there are just 3 balls. A couple of boundaries here will obviously help their cause. Let's see how it unfolds. Vijay to Nikhil. It's a good ball. Nice full. They go for the single and they do make it comfortably. So once again, good running between the wickets there by the batsman. So a nice little comeback from Vijay after conceding the boundary of the first ball of his over. But again, the job's not done. There are still 2 more deliveries to go. Can Vijay close the over? Rahul just having a small look at the field. Here is Rahul. Oh, once again a swing and miss, and that was very, very close to taking a feather off the bat. He's lucky that he wasn't getting any back to it. Here, let's have a look at that. Was there to be hit though? But a change of pace there. Oh, that was close to the outside edge. Very, very close indeed, judging by the reactions of the keeper and the bowler. So here it is, Vijay to Rahul. Last ball of the power play. Plays that well. But again, there is a fielder in the deep. So just a 7 runs conceded in this over. So the power play is done and dusted. At the end of 6 overs, the Supernovas are 47 for 2. And we finally have a bowling change here. Ronak is the new bowler who's been introduced into the attack. And Rahul is the batsman who is on strike. It's a deep cover. One of the fielders out outside the 30-yard circles. Now the field restrictions have been lifted, so you can have more than two fielders outside the circle. And here is Ronak bowling to Rahul, and that's waiting for the umpire signal there, and that is given as a wide, straying down the leg side, and a single taken alongside it. So that's 2 runs of this ball, and he will have to bowl that one again. So the score now 49 for the loss of 2 wickets. 6 overs done. Lest you forget, it was Panchveer Cricket Club who won the toss and elected to field first. Here is Ronak to bowl to Nikhil once again. Plays that nicely off the back foot, will get a single. The fielder at long on will collect. And the 50 comes up for the Supernovas with that single. 50 for the loss of 2 wickets. Here is Ronak. Oh, that was so close to the stumps. Almost getting the 3rd wicket there. Look at that. So close to the off stump. And that is once again another wide. He will have to bowl that one again. Let's have a look at that one again where he missed the stumps here. As you can see, that is a nice little delivery there from Ronak. Flight and so close. On another day, you would see that ball hit the off stump, but not this time. You would say that that's a very unfortunate thing there for Ronak. Should have been a wicket there, but unfortunate, and that is exactly how cricket goes. It's not your day sometimes. But Ronak will be very encouraged by what he saw there. If he continues to bowl the same line and length, he could be in among the wickets. That's a much better delivery. But they will settle for us. They will get a single though. So there is the makings of a pretty steady partnership out there. 30 runs the partnership is worth now. So let's have a look here. Rahul on strike, facing Ronak. Swings and misses. That's another dot ball. So despite the 2 wides that Ronak has bowled, it's still a decent over, just 6 conceded. No boundaries given. That's the biggest positive and biggest positive out there. As Ronak continues. Oh, that's a good ball, and that one bounced. So early signs of uneven bounce as well on this pitch. That ball shot up out of nowhere. Took the batsman by surprise. Last ball of the 7th over. Rahul Rajput to face. Ronak on the ball. Plays that late, but there is protection and sent back wisely. So good first over up from Ronak. The end of the 7th over, Supernovas are 53 for 2. And another change in the bowling attack as Bhavik Parekh is the new man with the ball. Nikhil Lekhi currently batting on 21 of 20 deliveries, whereas Rahul Rajput, his partner, is currently on 11 of 17 deliveries. So Bhavik taking his time to set the field out there. There is a long on, long off, deep cover. Here's Bhavik bowling to Nikhil. Picks that one nicely, and that will find its way to the boundary for four. A good shot there by Nikhil. Here, as you can see, picks his spot nicely, was a little bit on the leg side, and Nikhil picks it up perfectly and beats the fielder at fine leg. There was no protection out there, so that one travels. So that's a good start to the over, a boundary first up. That will sure certainly help their cause, and that will put a little bit of pressure on Bhavik, given that it was his first ball of the over, and always a boundary in the first ball of the over does translate that pressure back onto the bowler. So he will probably have to alter his line and length a little. And as you can see, the towels back out again. Bhavik to continue. That's a huge appeal, and that's a probably, and that's out. There was absolutely no single there. It was right in the hands of the bowler. Yeah, there was an appeal for LBW. That's clearly not out, and Rahul just rushes off. The ball's right in the hands of the bowler, and all the bowler had to do was take a simple shy of the stumps, and Rahul has to depart. And the last thing that the Supernovas needed was a run out. The third wicket's gone. The Supernovas are 57 for the loss of 3 wickets. Unfortunate sequence of events here. Just when it felt that the Supernovas were building a partnership, they were consolidating their innings, they lose a wicket. Meanwhile, the new batsman Varun Singh walks out in the middle. Varun Singh, the new batsman, will be on the non-striker's end. Here comes Bhavik. Bowling a nice stump to stump length there. Batsman cross for a single. And now it will be Varun to face his first ball. He's taking guard. So here's Varun to face his first ball. We'll have to wait because that's been given as a wide. Bhavik to continue. Here's Varun on strike. That's once again a wide. So Varun losing his lines and lengths a little. Back to back wides here, straying down the leg side. So he will want to alter his line and lengths to the ones that he bowled in the first three deliveries, keeping it on the offside of the stumps rather than going down the legs. Here's Bhavik. That's a much better line and length from Bhavik. Will get a single. So that's Varun off the mark. The Supernovas currently going at a run rate of 7.96. They want to take that run rate to at least a 9.5 as they look to put out a competitive total. Here's Nikhil. That's a good ball. That's a huge appeal. Nothing doing, says the umpire. That was a good ball, full on the stumps. So once again, despite the boundary, it's a pretty good over. Just 4 runs conceded off the next four deliveries, and that included two wides. So it is a good over as far as the Panchveer Cricket Club are concerned. Nikhil will look to have at least another boundary here. Oh, that's another good delivery. Played down to long on for a single. So we are 8 overs into this contest, and the Supernovas currently are at 62 for 3. Ronak to continue with his second over, gave away 6 runs in his first, and he will look to continue bowling tight lines and lengths and bowl tight overs from the other end. Nikhil currently on 27 of 25, and that will be given as a wide, and they will be looking for more than one. I not really understand why the batsman stopped there. There was an easy two available. They will eventually have to settle for a single. So the dew already having its effect here. The bowlers are not able to grip the ball ideally the way they wanted to, and that is resulting in quite a few extras being bowled tonight. Here is Ronak bowling to Varun this time. That's a much better delivery. On the stumps, the batsman crossed for a single, but that is the line and length that not only Ronak but the rest of the Panchveer bowling attack will look to target. Just around just around the stumps or on the fourth stump, so that there is not enough chance of a release shot or a scoring opportunity for the Supernovas batsmen. Ronak to continue. Plays it late off the back foot, but there is a fielder there, so there will be no run taken this time. And once again, the towel's coming out to use. Yes, Ronak. Nikhil on strike. Once again, plays that to the fielder. Yes, no. And that is a poor throw. A better throw would have Nikhil struggling there, but the ball just did not come out of the arms of the fielder. So Nikhil lives to survive another day. Very, very lucky boy indeed. He played that shot, saw the fielder had a little bit of a misfield, and immediately set off for a single. It was very, very fortunate that the fielder did not get his throw right, or else Nikhil would have been struggling. However, Nikhil will now look to make the most of this lifeline that has been provided to him and set a platform for a good total for his side here. Plays that one nicely. That's another misfield. But this time he thinks twice before going for a single after what happened in the previous delivery there. An unwritten rule of cricket, never run off a misfield. Once again, a very neat and tidy over from Ronak here. Just 3 runs off it. Plays that well, plays that late. There is protection out there in the deep, so once again, it will only be a single. So this is another good tied over from Ronak here, just 4 runs off. Still one more ball to go, but it's still been a pretty good over. No boundary of it, and no boundary means that obviously there will be a little bit of pressure on the batting side to get a release shot out here. Here is Varun face Ronak. Plays it off his pass. This time there is a misfield and they will comfortably get a single at least. They do settle for a single. So that is 9 overs done and dusted. The Supernovas are 67 for 3. Bhavik back into the attack. He will continue his second over. The Supernovas having been put to bat a 67 for 3, 9 overs into their batting innings. Varun Singh batting on 3 of 3, Nikhil on 28 of 29. Here is Bhavik. That's a good looking shot from Varun there, drives well. And a little bit of a misfield there, courtesy of a rather adorable pitch invader. As you can see, but that does not cause any damage as the batsmen do eventually settle for a single. Here's Bhavik to continue. Nikhil, the batsman, on strike. And that he has straight down the leg side, has he? No, he hasn't. That's clipped the pad, says the umpire. So that's 2 balls into the 10th over. That's a good start from Bhavik, just a single conceded of it. He'll be looking to continue to put the pressure on the Supernova batsman. Oh, that's a good shot. Uses his feet. And that's 4. Good batting this from Nikhil. Sees the delivery, puts on his dancing shoes, connects sweetly, and had enough timing and placement to beat that fielder there at long off. So much needed boundary here for the Supernovas as the score goes along to 72 for 3 midway through the 10th over. I think the onus now currently in this partnership will be on Nikhil, given that he is the set batter and he is the batter who is among the runs at the moment. Here comes Bhavik, and that is once again straight on the leg side, and they do sneak for a single as well. So that's a couple of more extras added to the team total. Here is Varun facing Bhavik. Plays a nice textbook drive there. Will settle for only a single. As you can see, there is a huge amount of dew on the outfield. So the score ticking along nicely for the Supernovas. They've got 8 runs of this over. They'll be looking to convert that into a double digit over for them here in the 2 balls that are there. Here's Bhavik. Strays down the leg side. Has he found the gap? You bet he has. And that's gone racing away to the boundary. And this is the over that the Supernovas required. Was going down the legs. All he had to do was get a little bit of bat given the fine leg was inside the circle. And he beats that fielder and he finds the boundary. So that's 12 runs of this over. A much needed over for the Supernovas in terms of getting a bit of a head start as we enter the second half of the batting innings. One more ball left in the 10th over. And Nikhil has now stolen a march and he is on 36 of 32 deliveries. Bhavik to continue. Here is Nikhil. Oh, that's a good ball. A hopeful shot for LBW, but even the bowling side knew that that was drifting along the leg side. So 12 runs off that over. The end of 10 overs. It's 79 for 3. And it's time for drinks. Ten overs in. The Supernovas 79 for 3. Ronak will look to do some form of damage limitation after that previous over that went for 12. 79 for 3, going at a run rate of 7.9. 3 wickets gone. Still a decent platform here to go for the next 10 overs to get a score of around 165, 170 probably. or maybe more if there are a couple of big overs in the mix. So the Supernovas can still go and look forward to a pretty competitive total. Here's Ronak to bowl his third over. That was nice and wide, and that is fielded well. They will come back for two. So 2 runs off. Played it nice and fine, but just did not have the legs to go to the boundary. So will eventually settle for two. Played this one nicely as well, but there is a fielder there at deep third. So will only have to settle for a single this time around. There is Nikhil marking his guard. This is a rather unusual way of marking guard, probably the first time I've seen it, but different strokes for different folks, I guess. Here is Ronak to bowl to Nikhil. Ronak so far has been the pick of the bowlers for the Panchveer Cricket Club. Oh, that's a good ball. Straight to the fielder, so no run there. So speaking about Ronak, Ronak has been the pick of the bowlers in terms of not conceding a lot of runs. He's given away just 14 runs and he's midway through his third over. All that he needs to, add a little bit of gloss to his bowling figures is a wicket. And that would probably be a good night's work for him. Here is Ronak. That's another good delivery, but this time played across the fielder there, so they will get a single. So once again, this is another nice and tight over from Ronak, conceding just 4 runs of his 4 deliveries. We want to end the over well. That's equally important as well. Because it was a similar situation in the previous over, and the penultimate ball of that over went to the boundary. So they want to avoid that in this over. That's played late, and they are coming for across for a second. They will eventually make it with ease. So that's once again good running between the wickets there. Gets 2 runs. That has been given as a short run. So he did not complete the first run properly, which means it will only be a single. So it's 84 for 3. Oh, that's slog swept. And that's a drop. That should have been taken there by that fielder at mid wicket. It's the end of 11 overs. The Supernovas are 85 for 3. So Akash Parmar is the new bowler who's been brought into the bowling attack. 11 overs done. The Supernovas are 85 for 3. And Varun getting a lifeline on that last ball of the previous over where that catch went through the hands of the fielder at mid wicket. Here's Akash bowling to Varun. Plays that nice and late. There is protection there at the deep, so will get only a single. So once again, there is a small little foundation for another good partnership being built by these two batsmen. But how far will this partnership go? And another question is, when will these two batsmen decide to take the aggressive route? They've been knocking around the singles and they're getting the occasional boundary, but the frequency of the boundaries will have to increase if they need to get anywhere close to that 170, 180 run mark. Here it is, another single. So as I was speaking, the partnership is now worth 30 of 24 deliveries. So there is a foundation being built here. Can they capitalize on this foundation and make it big from here in the remaining 8 overs and 4 balls? Akash to continue. Oh, tries to play that late, but that was beaten all ends up there. So this is once again good bowling by Akash, darting it in. Did him for pace. Another good delivery. Two back-to-back dots. So this is something that Panchveer won't mind. Dot balls, the singles, the twos, as long as they are not conceding boundaries, that should be fine for them. Because if there are no boundaries, the score doesn't go anywhere. Once again, another dot ball. So nice tight over this. Just two singles off. Can Akash finish the over in style? Or will Varun have an answer to Akash's tight and disciplined bowling? He's already played out three dot deliveries in succession. Will he go for the big shot? Here is Akash. Oh, he's played that. It's taken the aerial route and that's gone for four. So Varun has the last laugh, ends the over with a boundary, and as the end of the 12th over, the Supernovas are 91 for 3. Picks his spot beautifully, does Varun. Was not short enough, but he gets into position rather quickly and fast use of the hands, takes the aerial route and goes for boundary. So 12 overs, 91 for 3, 8 overs more. How many runs can the Supernovas get? And can both these batsmen get a move on and change gears as far as acceleration is concerned? Because the foundation is pretty much well set. Varun's on 15 of 40 and Nikhil is on 38 of 36. So they will start to look for the big hits with increased frequency, as there is another new bowling change with Anmol Mehta, the new bowler, coming into the attack. And the keeper standing up to the stumps for Anmol. Anmol waiting, and here he is, bowling to Nikhil. Was trying to go for the big shot there, does not get the connection he was looking for. And they take the risk and they go for the second, and they make it. The keeper tried to flick that onto the stumps, and it seems like Nikhil has pulled something because he is walking a bit gingerly. Let's hope that he is okay because he is the set batsman. He's holding his hamstring there. He looks to be in trouble. How much of an impact will that have on his batting? And how much of an impact will that have in the running between the wickets of the two batsmen? We'll find out soon enough. Here is Anmol to Nikhil. He goes for the big shot. Only gets a single. Still moving a bit gingerly here is Nikhil. Grimacing a bit after he completed that single. Varun to face Anmol now. Oh, that's been woefully wide. And Nikhil somehow manages to get 2 runs despite the dodgy nature of his running. Eventually makes it for 2. So that's 3 runs added to the total. Wide and 2. Those extras mounting up as we speak. Here is Varun. Oh, that's he's picked that nicely, and that's gone for 4. And with that boundary, it is the 100 that comes up for the Supernovas. This was once again straying too wide down the leg side. All Varun had to do was get bat on it, and he duly obliges. And that ball raced away to the boundary for 4. So the 100 comes up with this shot, and now it feels like the Supernovas have a bit of momentum going towards their favor. 10 runs of this over, 3 balls in, still 3 balls more. Can they make this into another big over here, the Supernovas? Shows the face of the bat, plays it nicely for a single. So 11 runs off it, still 2 more balls to go. Nikhil is the batsman who is now on strike. And Anmol now switching across to around the wicket. Oh, that is a no ball above waist height. And that will be a free hit. So this was not something that the Panchveer bowlers and the fielders would have wanted. A big over here will surely put them in just a little bit of pressure. Here's the free hit. Nikhil to face it. He's taken the aerial route with that. Has he found the boundary? Not quite. They will get 2 runs for it though. Still a big over, still 14 runs off it. This partnership has now slowly switched gears and has moved on to 48 of 34. Here's Nikhil to face Anmol. Oh, he ends it with a dot ball, but it's still an expensive over. 14 runs coming off it. End of the 13th over, the Supernovas are 105 for 3. So Akash Parmar to continue with his second over. He will be bowling to Varun. 7 overs more to go. The run rate is now, that was consistently around 7, is now gone to 8.08. It's a marked improvement in the batting as far as the run rate's concerned. They look to increase that a bit even further. Here comes Akash to Varun. Once again, showing the full face of the bat. Plays it down the ground for a single. And once again, the towels come out. Nikhil batting on 43. Here is Akash. Oh, puts on his dancing shoes but misses that completely. And ironically, so does the keeper. Could have been a stumping chance there, but that's another chance gone a begging. Here is Akash. This time he picks the aerial route. There is a fielder there at the deep, and they will scamper across for a couple of runs. So the 50 of the partnership comes up with those two runs. 51 of 38 the partnership now. And as you can see, those last two runs have definitely taken a bit of toll on Nikhil, who, mind you, has discomfort, should I say, in his hamstring, and that has had an impact on his running between the wickets, while it hasn't cost them so far. Oh, he's picked that one nicely. That's a misfield, and that's found the boundary for four. The fielder there at the deep completely misjudging that. Gives the charge. He does pick that nicely. The fielder just completely misjudges it and goes right through his hands and to the boundary for four. So the boundary is coming in regularity now, much more regular than the previous 3 or 4 overs. And slowly and steadily, the Supernovas are setting themselves up for a rather competitive total here. Nikhil on 49. Here is Akash. Plays that down the ground, and that is a well-made half century for Nikhil. It's a good half century for Nikhil. He's bided his time out there in the middle. He's overcome the testing phases that the Panchveer bowlers have thrown at him, and he's eventually reached the milestone of a half century. Well played, Nikhil, indeed. Here is Akash bowling to Varun. Once again, drives and drives nicely, but there is protection out there in the deep. So will only be a single. So 9 runs coming of this over as well. It is the end of the 14th over, and the Supernovas are 114 for 3. So Mayur Shah is the new bowler into the attack, and it is Varun who is the batsman on strike for the Supernovas. They found a little bit of momentum in the past 2.5 overs, and they would like to take that forward. Oh, he's played that nicely. He's beaten the fielder there, and that's found the boundary. So boundaries coming in quick succession, and that has made sure that the Supernovas batsmen are in good stead. They're finding the boundary at regular intervals. Once again, straying a little too down the leg side, and once again, all the batsmen had to do was get a little bit of bat on it, and Varun obliges and does the needful. So Varun has got to move on. He moves on to 26 of 19. And the score is now moving on rather nicely for the Supernovas. They are on 118 for 3. Once again, oh, he's missed that, but that will be more runs. They're looking for a second, and they do get a second, and that is a wide as well. So now slowly and steadily as we speak, the pressure mounting a little bit more on the Panchveer bowlers. So now the current run rate for the Supernovas is 8.54. Full toss. He's taken the aerial route there. But once again, there is protection in the deep, but it is a no ball now. That is a free hit. So has this match turned in favor of the Supernovas after a good decent period of Panchveer taking the ascendancy in the contest? The last 3 overs have seen the Supernovas make a comeback. And now here is Nikhil to face the free hit. Oh, he's got an inside edge there. But will only be a single. So it's just 2 balls in, but Mayur has already gone for 10 runs. So it is already an expensive over, and there are still 4 more balls to go. So the Supernovas have an advantage at the moment, and there it is. That's a beautiful shot once again, and this one's gone all the way for 6. So now the Supernovas batsmen are turning on the heat and accelerating at will. Full toss, no second invitations needed. Varun goes down on one knee and picks his spot beautifully. So now that score has gone to 130 for 3. And this is already turning out to be a massive, massive over for the Supernovas. Already 16 of it. Just 3 balls. So the Supernovas have made a comeback, and how? They have now set themselves up beautifully for a rather formidable total. Surely they must be harboring aspirations of 180 to 185, given the way the last 3 to 3.5 overs have panned out in their favor. Here is Mayur. He's played that well. That is smart cricket here. They've seen that a big shot has come in, and they've taken a single immediately after. So 17 runs of this over, 2 more balls to go. Will Nikhil continue to go hammer and tongs? Here comes Mayur. And he takes the aerial route as well. And that is 4 more. So now runs flowing freely for the Supernovas batsmen. Once again, this is another full toss. And Nikhil comes down the front foot, swings his arms, and beats the fielder there at deep square leg. And that goes to the boundary as well. So 25 runs, 21, I beg your pardon, 21 runs coming of this over. 1 more ball to go in the 15th. 135 for 3 the score. Supernovas turning it on. Oh, and that is a wicket against the run of play. Nikhil was going for that big shot, deceived by the pace and the turn that was there. As you can see here, deceived completely, stranded, and the keeper does not make any mistake. So Nikhil's innings comes to an end. He has to depart for a well-made 55. At the end of 15 overs, the Supernovas are 135 for 4. So we are into the last 5 overs of the batting innings, and the Supernovas have seen Nikhil depart for a well-made 55. And that brings the new man Ronak on strike into the middle. He will be at the non-striker's end, as Varun will be the one to take strike in this particular over. But it was a huge, huge over despite the fall of the wicket. 21 runs coming off it. 15 overs into the contest. The Supernovas are currently at 135 for 4. That run rate has massively improved, and now they're going at a healthy 9 runs an over. Those last 3 overs have meant that it is the perfect springboard for the Supernovas batters to reach at least 180 minimum, but they know that they can get more than that. Here is Akash to bowl to. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Takes the aerial route. And that. Oh, he's just pulled that in the nick of time. Settles for 2. He's done just enough to ensure that that ball does not go to the boundary rope. Well fielded there in the deep. Akash to continue to Varun. And once again, he's picked that shot rather nicely. And once again, well fielded by the fielder. But good running as well. So they get 2 more. So this is good running. And Varun now the aggressor suddenly in this innings. He's going at a good rate. He's on 38 of 24. So his runs will also be equally crucial as to where that supernova score lands up come the end of 20 overs. Here he's played that well, and Ronak with good game awareness to pinch a single out of nowhere. So he will be facing his first ball against Akash, who's midway through his third over, who's given away 20 runs for no wicket. The score now 140 for 4. The Supernovas. Varun currently batting on 39 of 25, and Ronak will be facing his first delivery. Akash to continue with his over. Here's Ronak facing his first ball. Makes room for himself and gets off the mark in style. That's another boundary and just what the doctor ordered for the Supernovas. Premeditated shot here. Already gives himself room. All he had to do was get it above that fielder at fine leg, and he does that with ease. So he gets off the mark with a boundary. That score motors along to 144 for 4. And now the Supernovas will well and truly feel that they have this batting right where they want it to be. And suddenly, it's now the Panchveer bowlers who are under the cosh with this newfound aggression of the Supernovas batsmen. And once again, now Ronak targeting the area what he wants to go to. Looking, takes the aerial route once again. Has he found the gap? No, he hasn't. Oh, stumble there, but makes it in time. Also helps that the throw was at the wrong end. Varun thought that there was 2 there. Ronak thought otherwise. Varun did have a slip right in the middle of the pitch, but thankfully the throw was at the wrong end. And Varun will continue to keep strike. Here is Akash bowling to Varun, and Varun goes the aerial route, and that goes for 4. So another big over here. 14 runs of this one. Let's have a look at the boundary. Nice shot, picks his spot beautifully, and that has gone to the boundary again. So at the end of 16 overs, the Supernovas now well and truly in the ascendancy at 149 for 4. Yogesh is the new bowler out there into the bowling attack. So the Supernovas, with a good aggressive 3-4 overs, have now put themselves in a lovely position to get to that 180, 185 run mark. Ronak Singh is on 5 of 2 deliveries, and Varun playing an absolute blinder with 43 of 26. Both of them will be fancying their chances to take on the bowling here, especially Varun, given that the shots that he has played and the aggression that he has displayed. Yogesh will bowl his first ball. Ronak, the batsman, on strike. That's well played, nicely bowled there, full onto the stumps. But Ronak plays it well and squeezes it off that fielder for a single. And that brings Varun on strike. And with that single, the 150 comes up for the Supernovas. It's been a tale of two halves for the Supernovas. The first 10 overs went at a rather sedate pace, and the next six have seen them accumulate boundaries at will on both the sides of the wicket. And here comes Yogesh to Varun. Varun once again taking. Oh, that's bounced awkwardly and just about collected by the fielder there at the deep. They will get 2 runs though. So the runs still coming in nice for the Supernovas. The current run rate is now at a very, very healthy 9.31. And they will absolutely look and fancy themselves for a rather formidable score here. Here is Yogesh to Varun. Oh, that's a beautiful looking shot. And that's gone to the boundary for 4. Picks his spot nicely there. This Varun takes the aerial route and just bounces ahead of the fielder as it finds its way to the boundary. So with that boundary now, Varun is on 49 of 28. The score motors along for 156 for 4. The Supernovas well and truly dominating proceedings here. Here is Varun once again. Oh, he's taken the aerial route once again. And that's dropped. But with that single, Varun reaches his half century. It's a well compiled knock there. And he gestures to his batting side. Nikhil laid down the foundation with his half century, and Varun has carried it forward with his aggressive intent. 50 of just 29 deliveries, and he has brought the Supernovas in a very, very commanding position here. Meanwhile, Ronak facing Yogesh. That is straight over the bowler's head, and that's 6. Brilliant batting this from both the Supernovas batsmen. They are going hammer and tongs at the moment. Let's have a look at this. Full in the slot. Ronak picks it up. Middle of the bat, and that's going just one way for 6. They are now taking the attack to the bowling, and the Panchveer bowlers have nowhere to go. This is a very, very healthy position here for the Supernovas. Once again, 14 runs coming off this over, and here is Ronak once again. He's picked the aerial route again, and that's dropped. So now these expensive overs means that Panchveer fielders are also feeling the heat. And at the end of the 17th over, let's have a look at this. Does not get the middle of the bat here, and the fielder drops that. So it's the end of the 17th over. The Supernovas are 165 for 4. In the last 3 overs of the contest, Supernovas are 165 for 4, having been put into bat first by Panchveer Cricket Club. So Ronak Shah to bowl his final over. He's been their pick. He's been the pick of the bowlers so far. And Varun takes the aerial route once again. And that has gone to the boundary for 4. So even Ronak is not being spared now. Once again, that's a brilliant shot from Varun. Waits for the ball to come to him. Picks his spot beautifully. No fielder out there in the deep. Easy pickings for 4. So that score continues to motor along, and they are now at 169 for 4. Varun on 54 of 30. He's going at a strike rate of 180. Ronak on 14 of 5. Oh, that's picked beautifully. He's picked the bones out of that one as well. And that's another boundary. So back to back boundaries. And that has put Ronak under tremendous pressure. Again, short pitched. Varun giving the charge. Once again, finding the middle of the bat. The fielder at the deep puts in a despairing effort, but to no avail. And that is once again gone to the boundary. So now Varun and Ronak, both of them playing with the field. Once again, this time taking the aerial route, but will only get a single. Oh, that's 4! Goodness gracious me! What is going on here? A complete comedy of errors, and that's 3 boundaries in a row. Let's have a look at that. He did not get the connection that he was hoping for. For all intents and purposes, that looked like an easy single. But that just slipped through the hands of the fielder at long on and went to the boundary. So that's 3 boundaries in a row. And now Varun suddenly is on 62 of 32. Oh, that's a huge appeal for LBW, but the umpire says no. And they will sneak across for a single. And it's indicated as runs off the bat. So the towel's coming out here. 13 runs of this over as well. Well and truly, the attack has been taken to the Panchveer bowlers. And here comes Ronak. Oh, he's picked his spot well as well. And that's gone for 4. So that is the 4th boundary in this over. They have been attacking at will. This is power hitting of the highest order. Brutal batting this. 17 runs of this over. They are just picking their spots at will. It seems like there are no fielders across the boundary given the way that they are finding the gaps. Just effortless batting here. Ronak on 18 of just 6 deliveries. He's playing a blinder. Varun himself is on a heat as well. 63 of 33. They are now at 182 for 4, and we still have 2 overs to go after this. They are looking at 200 now. Here is Ronak. Bowling to Ronak. Does not get the timing. They are looking for 2, and they will get it rather comfortably. So another big over. This 19 runs coming of this. End of 18 overs. The Supernovas at 184 for 4. So even their best bowler, Ronak Shah for the Panchveer Cricket Club, who had bowled so well up until that point, was taken to the cleaners. He finishes with 36, and here is Akash bowling his final over. Varun gives the charge, and that also finds his way to the boundary. So the boundaries are just coming and coming and coming. And the Panchveer fielders and the bowlers just seem to have absolutely no answer whatsoever for this relentless onslaught by the Supernovas batsmen. Varun now on 67 of 34. Ronak on 20 of 7. The Supernovas. Oh, swings and misses there. Akash bowling to Varun. Oh, cheeky bit of gamesmanship by Akash there. There is Akash bowling to Varun. Dot ball, says the umpire. So this is good bowling here after the boundary. And Varun displaying a pretty. Oh, that's a cheeky shot. This. Does it have enough legs to go to the boundary? No, it doesn't. And they come for three. That is excellent running between the wickets. 3 runs taken, and that target, that score has now moved to the 190s, 191 for 4. 2 balls left for the 19th over. Varun on 70 of 37, and it brings Ronak on strike, who is on 20 of 7. Here is Ronak facing Akash. Oh, he was trying to go for that. Oh, that's a belated appeal, and that is given. So Akash gets a wicket, and Ronak has to depart. His cameo comes to an end. 20 of just 8. As you can see, yes, he was rightly caught in front of the stumps. He was looking to go behind that fielder at fine leg. It was a belated appeal by the bowling side, and the umpire eventually raises his finger. So that's the 5th wicket down. The Supernovas are 191 for 5. And it's Harpreet who is the new batsman who walks out to the middle. He will be on strike for the final ball of the 19th over. The Supernovas are still in a very, very healthy position here. They still have Varun on the other side, who is batting on 70 of 37. And here is Akash to bowl the final ball of his spell. Ooh, swings and misses. So end of the 19th over, the Supernovas. Oh, that's given. That's actually LBW. So Akash has taken another wicket, and Harpreet has to walk back. So that's 2 quick wickets in succession. That's 191 for 6 after 19. So Harpreet has to walk back after losing his stumps. So the final over, and Parth Sarthi comes in to bat on the non-striker's end. It'll be Varun on strike for the Supernovas, and he will be looking to face all six deliveries of this over. Oh, that's a lovely shot. Right from the moment he hit it, it was going one way, and that was six. Right from the moment he hit the bat. Pick that, you can hear that sound, and no sweeter sound for a batsman than the ball hitting the middle of the bat. 197 for 6, and Varun motors along 76 of 38. Here is Yogesh. The pressure is on him. Varun once again, he's taken the edge, and that's gone behind for another boundary. So with that boundary, it's the 200 up for the Supernovas. 201 for 6. Varun throws the kitchen sink at this one, gets an edge, and that comfortably flies over that fielder at third man who was inside the circle for 4. So 10 runs of the first two deliveries. Brilliant batting this from Varun on a whole as well. 80 of just 39 deliveries. Picked his spot time and time again to perfection. Short aggressive batting and equal game smarts in abundance. And he and his team are reaping the benefits of that now as they are 200 up. Here is Yogesh bowling to Varun. Oh, he picks that up. That's in the air. Fielder coming underneath it. Gets nowhere near it eventually, and they will settle for a couple. So 12 runs of the first three deliveries. Varun, it looks like he cannot do no wrong today. Here is Yogesh. Says no. So that's a dot ball, which has been a rarity in the last 5 overs or so. Last two balls of the innings to go. Here is Varun. Oh, that's well bowled. A Yorker length delivery at the penultimate ball of the over. So pull things back just a wee bit there. With the way the over started, it felt like Varun was going to throw the kitchen sink at everyone and connect. But he has pulled back things rather nicely. So the last ball of this batting innings, Varun on strike on 82 of 42. What can he conjure up with this delivery? Here goes. Oh, he's picked that one. It's in the air. The fielder converges, but falls safe, and they eventually settle for a couple of runs. So that is the end of the batting innings for the Supernovas, and they have posted a formidable total of 205 for 6 after being put into bat by the Panchveer Sports Club. It was an excellent batting display, chiefly headlined by Varun's explosive innings and a beautiful half century by Nilesh up the order, and a swashbuckling cameo from Ronak towards the end to give those much needed impetus and a late burst of fireworks with his aggressive batting. So the Supernovas have ended with a rather formidable total of 205. Panchveer will have to bat out of their skins to get the target, which is at 206. And we will be back shortly with the run chase. Hello, everyone, and welcome back in what promises to be a cracker of a run chase here with Panchveer needing 206 to win in their 20 overs. Here's the first ball of the run chase. Played it nicely in that gap between the fielders, but there is protection out there in the deep. So the Panchveer Sports Club kickstart their run chase with a single. For all of you tuning in, it was the Supernovas who were put in to bat first after Panchveer won the toss, and they accumulated a formidable total of a 205 for 6 in their allotted 20 overs. The Supernovas will now have to defend that total if they have to achieve victory. That's been given as a wide. He will have to bowl that one again. That's a good looking shot there. It beats the gap, but there is protection in the deep. Well gathered and well thrown as they eventually settle for a couple of runs here. Oh, he's gone! And that is first blood for the Supernovas. And Panchveer lose their first wicket in the very first over of the run chase. That was a perfect Yorker. It was searing, it was full, it was right under the batsman. And there it is, between the legs, clatters into leg stump. You miss, buddy, I hit. And that is first blood for the Supernovas. It is the worst possible start for the Panchveer Sports Club, especially when you're chasing such a big target. And it is the new batsman who walks into the middle. The problem with chasing a total that is above 200 is that you always have to start playing your strokes from the very first ball of your run chase, in fact, because every over that there is no boundary hit, that run rate goes up astronomically high. Shehzad Shroff. Here is Shehzad to continue. Oh, that's another wicket! Back to back wickets for Shehzad. He is breathing fire at the moment, and that is the second time that he's found timber. It's going down. Shehzad's getting timber. It's 2 wickets in 2 balls. Once again, Yorker, and he's castled up 2 batsmen in a flash. And now Panchveer are in dire straits. So back to back wickets. Shehzad on a hat trick. And it is Akash who is coming into bat now. Was not expecting to come this early into the run chase, but here he is, out to face a hat trick delivery from a rampaging Shehzad, who is now certainly all fired up. Akash to face the hat-trick delivery. Panchveer 4 for 2 already in the first over of the run chase, chasing 206. A spot of bother here. There is there are two slips out there for the hat-trick ball. Here it is. Shehzad with his hat-trick delivery. Ooh, just about carrying there, just about taking the edge, but he survives. But this is a ferocious start for the Supernovas here. Just 4 runs conceded and 2 wickets to go to boot. Couldn't have asked for a better start with the ball. Chasing a rather formidable, defending a big target. Shehzad to conclude the first over of this run chase. Here he comes, striding in, and Akash picks up the aerial route. The fielder running there will not get there, but eventually they will get 2 runs. So after the end of the first over, the Panchveer Cricket Club are 4 for 2. So Harsimran Singh is the new bowler from the other end, and Sandy is the batsman who will be taking strike for this particular over. So what will the approach for the Panchveer batsmen be here? Do they continue playing their shots despite knowing the fact that they are already 2 wickets down chasing 200? Or will they take their time, build a partnership just like how the Supernovas did, and then go for broke? However, different circumstances given that they were setting a target and this is a run chase. Very interesting to see the batting approach here. Here's Harsimran bowling to Sandy. Plays it well, but no run there. Straight to the fielder. Sandy to continue facing Harsimran. Once again, good line lengths there bowled by Harsimran. Not being able to get off strike or neither being able to play the release shot here is Sandy. So 2 dot balls in a row. What will be the batsman's approach here? Will he go for the big shot? Will he play the over out? So many possibilities. Let's have a look. Again, frees his arms. This time it takes it beyond the gap, but there is a fielder there in the deep on the offside. Will only have to settle for a single. Here is Harsimran coming in to Akash this time. Oh, Akash backs out at the last moment. So Harsimran will have to go through his bowling routine once again. Here it is. Tries to go the aggressive route. Does he find the gap? No, he doesn't. Will have to settle for a single. So a rather disciplined start from Harsimran in his 4 balls so far. He would like to keep the discipline going for the next 2 balls of the over as well. And discipline is something that will be just when I was talking about discipline, he bowls in a wide. As I was speaking earlier, discipline will be the key word for the Supernovas bowlers because we've seen the Panchveer bowlers give away a bucket load of extras with wides and no balls because of the dew factor. And the dew factor is only going to have a much more pronounced role with the ball here. So the Supernovas will have to be really disciplined with their bowling and not give away any extras. Very close call that as well. So this is the type of line and length that the Supernovas bowlers should be bowling because the lesser number of extras they give, the more better their position will be in terms of defending this target. Because on the back of my head, I can count the Panchveer bowlers giving away at least 20 to 25 extra runs, and that is too much in a T20 game. Here is Harry to complete his first over, and he completes it rather nicely. So that's the end of the second over. Panchveer 9 for 2. Shezad to continue from the other end had a brilliant first over, giving away 6 runs and taking 2 wickets in the process. Akash with the batsman on strike, plays it towards the leg side, no run there. Shezad to continue, Akash on strike, nice strong forward front foot defense, no run for that. So Akash in readiness after having a bit of a dislodge and re. Here is Akash against Shezad, takes the aerial route and this time finds the boundary. That's a good looking shot, and that is the first boundary of the innings for Panchveer. Let's have a look at that. Good ball, but equally well played. Picks it up nicely. His head was right over the top, perfectly placed over the fielders, and that finds its way to the boundary rather comfortably. Here is Shehzad. Oh, that's a brilliant comeback after getting hit for a boundary. Nice, beats him for pace just outside that fourth stump channel. And Akash is very fortunate that he did not get an edge on that. And Akash once again picks his spot rather nicely, but only has to settle for a single this time around. That brings Sandy on strike against Shehzad. Here he comes, bowling to Sandy this time. Oh, that's once again bowled rather well. So that's another good over from Shehzad. So the end of 3 overs, Panchveer struggling a bit at 14 for 2. Here is Harsimran bowling to Akash, who's going for the big shot there, gets a toe edge there, and that is running away to the boundary for 4. So Akash has decided that he's going to get a move on rather than see this run chase go nowhere. So he is swinging his bat in his merry way, and that is probably the best form of getting runs. I think Akash has already figured things out that attack probably will be the best form of defense here, given that they have not made good use of the first 3 overs of the power play where the field restrictions are in place. So he probably look to make better use of the remaining 3. And this is a good start, getting a boundary of the first ball. Make that 2 in 2. So Akash now gets another boundary, and that's once again muscled, absolutely muscled here, just a bit on the shorter side. Picks his spot, thumps that between the two fielders on the leg side, and that travels to the boundary for 4, like a tracer bullet. So back-to-back boundaries, just the start to the over that Panchveer wanted after 3 quiet overs on the bounce. So now the Supernovas taking just a little bit of time to set their field. Here is Harsimran bowling to Akash once again. That's been given as a wide. Harsimran under a bit of pressure after going for back-to-back boundaries in the first 2 balls of his second over and then overcompensating by bowling it far too down the leg side for a wide. Here he comes once again. Akash plays that delicately and does not get a run, and Nikhil seems to be in trouble. As we know that He had a bit of an issue while he was batting where he had a little bit of discomfort around his hamstring area, and you can still see that he's still not 100% recovered from it. Still moving across rather gingerly. Here is Harsimran bowling to Akash. And once again, Akash bowls, hits it straight to Nikhil again. Was once again able to field despite the obvious discomfort. So after the back-to-back boundaries conceded, Harsimran has bowled back-to-back dot deliveries to balance things out a bit. Here is Harsimran to Akash. Picks his spot nicely, and that is finding its way to the boundary. That's three fours in the over. So Akash has picked his spots well in this over, and that's 13 runs of this over, and still one more ball to go. In the slot, goes for that slog hit, picks his spot, beats that fielder at mid on who was in the circle, and that's gone to the boundary for four. So Akash getting a move on here. He's on 20 of 13. Sandy still not got out of the blocks yet on 2 of 7. So can Panchveer end this over with another boundary? They've got three boundaries in this over. Let's have a look what happens here. And that's picked the bones out of that, and that's gone for six. Brilliant over this for Panchveer under the circumstances. He's absolutely clobbered this one. Let's have a look at that. Shot sat nicely, asking to be hit, and he pumps that over that fielder there for six. So 19 runs coming off this over is the end of the fourth over. Panchveer are back in this 33 for 2. So we have a bowling change now for the Supernovas. It is Sachin who's introduced into the bowling attack inside the power play. Still two more overs to go to the power play, and with Akash already doing the power hitting from one end, I think it is probably time that Sandy gets into the party as well. Should probably look to get as many runs as he can in this particular exchange. Here is Sandy. That's well bowled. Good bowling by Sachin first up. Nice on good length into the batsman's body line, not giving him room to free his arms and not going way too down the leg side so that he can pull or hit behind square. So this is a good start from Sachin. He will need to continue in the same vein to just compensate a little for that over that is gone by that accounted for 19. Here is Sachin once again. Again, nice line and length there. They do scamper across for a single, but it is a good start. Two balls on good length. Bowling well here. That single now brings Akash on strike. Akash has looked like $1,000,000 ever since walking into the middle. Three boundaries, four boundaries, and a six, in fact. Here is Akash to face Sachin. Oh, he's clobbered that, but straight to the fielder, so no run. Sachin to Akash. Plays that rather fine, and this time it beats the fielder, and that is running away. Fielded well there. Will get 2 runs. So that was probably the game plan all along. Was looking to target that weak link in the Supernovas fielding, and that is clearly Nikhil there at third man. All he had to do was just beat Nikhil a couple of inches either side of him, and there are runs on offer. And that is exactly what he did here. He was hoping to get a boundary, but the ball did not have enough legs to go the distance. So he will settle for a couple. But this is a much better over from Sachin under the circumstances here. Just 3 runs off. That's a good ball, very close to the stumps. Once again, another single. So 4 runs off it. The required run rate has already crept up above 11. The required run rate currently is 11.14, and Panchveer are currently going at a run rate of just above 7.5 or just around 7.5. Here is Sachin to complete his first over, and Sandy now picks his spot and he finds the boundary. So he ends the over with the boundary, 8 runs coming off it, 5 overs gone, 41 for 2. Picks his spot nicely there, bisects that gap between the two fielders. No protection out there in the deep. So 41 for 2 after 5. And the another bowling change. This time it's Ronak who's into the attack. This is the last over of the field restrictions in place. And with Akash, the batsman, on strike, Akash will absolutely no doubt be looking to make the absolute most use out of the field restrictions that are there in place. These 6 balls would probably either lay down a platform for a successful run chase or maybe push the Panchveer batters just in that little bit more of a corner. So, what will Akash's game plan be here? Does he swing for the hills straight away on the very first ball? It'll be there to see for all of us. Here is Ronak, all in readiness. Oh, that's a huge appeal first up, and that is given. So Ronak gets the wicket, catches Akash, the danger man, right in front of the stumps, and that is a dream start for Ronak. Let's have a look at this one. Great ball, and that is a very good decision there. That looked out, and it is out. So Akash has to depart, and Panchveer lose their third wicket. And with the score at 41, they are now in deep trouble. Mayur, the new batsman, walking out to the middle. The Supernovas well and truly on top of proceedings, especially after this latest wicket. And it was the wicket of the big fish. Akash was looking dangerous out there, and Ronak accounts for him in his very first ball. Could have not asked for a much better start with the ball there. After a swashbuckling cameo of his own, Ronak is now making his impact felt with the ball as well. So here is Ronak to continue. No doubt a spring in his step. Mayur to face his first ball. Ooh, that was a low full toss. So dot ball to follow up with the wicket. Ronak to continue. Mayur on strike. Oh, that was so agonizingly close to that off stump. Brilliant bowling this from Ronak. Late movement there from the left-hander, and that was so close. On another day, that would have easily gone on to hit the stumps. Not today. So Ronak breathing fire at the moment. Three consecutive dot balls, a wicket on his very first delivery. Can he continue the good work in the second half of this over? Here he is, bowling to Mayur. Sits straight down the ground. That's another dot ball. So four dot balls in a row. Here is Ronak to bowl the fifth delivery of this over. And this has been an excellent over for the bowling side in terms of closing the power play here. It, it was the over that the batting side should have targeted, but in fact, after losing that wicket of a ski batsman, it's been nothing but dominance on the bowling side. And that's flashed across, and that's gone for four. This is once again another good delivery here. Oh, it's taken a big bottom edge, and that will be runs off the bat. So Mayur gets off the mark. Panchveer get a boundary of it, and unfortunately that would spoil the figures of Ronak a bit, who was fancying his chances of getting a maiden over here, but such is the game. We'll have to accept it and move on. So Ronak to finish his over and also to bring a close to the field restrictions. Here he comes. And Mayur picks his spot rather nicely. However, the ball does not have enough to go to the boundary. They will settle for two. So at the end of the power play and the mandatory field restrictions, the Panchveer Sports Club are at 47 for 3. So after the end of the power play in the second innings, it is the Supernovas who have a commanding grip of this game, having taken 3 wickets in the power play and not given away too many runs as well. But with the current run rate just a shade under 8, 7.83 to be precise, and the required run rate whopping 11.36. So Shazad to continue with his third over. He's already taken 2 wickets and conceded just 11 runs off. And you have Sandy on strike. It's edged. There is a fielder there at third man, so will only be a single. So it's been a rather stuttering run chase for Panchveer so far. Apart from apart from that cameo there from Akash, there was no one else who's got the runs out there. And here is Shazad bowling to Mayur. It's close. That was close to the edge there. This is good disciplined bowling from Shroff irrespective. We are 2 balls into the seventh over. The Panchveer Cricket Club are at 48 for 3, chasing 206. They currently need 158 more to win in 82 deliveries. Here is Shazad. It's nice and full. Will only get a single there. So once again, this is another good start to the over in the first half. 2 singles of the first 3 balls. He'd want to continue in a similar vein. Will Shazad. Sandy on strike, who struggled for fluency throughout his innings. Here Shazad. And he's picked that one rather nicely, and that has travelled for 4. It's a good looking shot. Just as I was saying, talking about the fact that he was struggling for fluency there, a nice, juicy slot ball wide outside the off stump. Needed no invitation to free his arms. Gets 4 runs for it. And here's once again the towels coming into play. There is a huge amount of dew in the outfield. Here is Sandy to face Shehzad. Is this the free? Is this the? Oh, that was well kept there. Brilliant piece of keeping. Certainly saved a boundary there, and it's rightly acknowledged by the batsman as well. So good sportsmanship on display here, and that was actually a really, really good piece of wicket keeping there. Took a little bit of pad on the way through, and that would certainly had gone to the boundary. So he saved 4 runs for his side there. Great cricket all around. All around. Here Shazad to complete his over, bowling to Sandy, lays it down the ground to the fielder at long off for a single. That's the end of the seventh over. Panchveer are 53 for 3. 54 for 3, I beg your pardon. 54 for 3. And as a changing bowling, Rahul Rajput will be the man to take the ball. And it is Sandy who's on strike. He's not been fluent in his stay at the middle, but that boundary that he scored in the previous over could probably be the lift-off and confidence that he needs to finally get going in his innings. Here is Rahul to bowling to Sandy. Hits it straight to the bowler. No run there. Here is Rahul. That's in the air. And that's taken. So wicket number 4 goes. And Panchveer now in deep trouble. Rahul gets a wicket against his name. It was a full toss. Sandy was looking for that big shot, gets the top edge, and that's a comfortable catch there by Sachin. And that is 54 for 4. The new batsman out in the middle is Yogesh. And Rahul also among the wickets column for the Supernovas bowlers. It's been a really, really strong bowling performance up until this point from the Supernovas. They're not allowing the Panchveer batsmen to get away with any loose deliveries and been relentlessly accurate as well. Not a lot of extras along, and that's a huge appeal. Not out, says the umpire. There is bat involved as well, says the umpire. So once again, this is really tight bowling, and the Supernovas must have surely had a look and said, guys, we do not need extras. We need to bowl 6 deliveries and keep it at that. There has been an odd wide here and there, but it's not been severe. And that could probably be the huge difference that it's making. That's once again another excellent delivery. 4 dot balls in a row. Rahul continuing to put on the pressure on the Panchveer batsmen were just not able to find the release shots. It's a monumental task for them now. Again, that's another dot delivery, 5 in a row. Pressure mounting with every single ball that the Panchveer team does not hit a boundary. That run rate has now gone well past 12. 152 required in 73 deliveries. The run rate required is a whopping 12 and a half. And here is Rahul. And Yogesh picks his spot nicely and ends the over with a boundary. It's a good looking shot. Just shuffles across his crease a bit. Picks it nicely. 8 overs gone. Panchveer 58 for 4. And Ronak is the bowler who's brought back into the attack. He bowled a very good first over as well, getting a wicket of his first delivery. And it'll be Mayur who will be the batsman on strike. Full toss, wide outside the off stump. And Mayur needs no second invitation to dispatch that to the boundary for four. A nice full toss, wide, well wide. Mayur just stands and delivers, and that ball races away to the boundary for four. So a much needed boundary here that makes it back to back boundaries for Panchveer after getting a boundary on the last ball of the previous over. Can they string a good run of overs? This is exactly a situation, interestingly, that Supernovas found themselves in. They lost 3 wickets, but then afterwards they capitalized and capitalized sensationally with that onslaught with their batsmen. They got runs in spades in that second half. I think Panchveer will be looking for the same. However, not losing a wicket is imperative. They cannot lose, or they cannot afford to lose another wicket here. Here is Ronak, and he plays it down the ground for a single. Yogesh, the batsman, on strike. Ronak to continue. Here is Ronak. That's straying down the leg side. That's been given as a wide. He will have to bowl that one again. Has this Ronak? Panchveer currently on 64 for 4, chasing 206. Required run rate is well above 12 at this point. Here comes Ronak, bowling to Yogesh. Full toss, but does not pick it. Will have no run given, and that is a no ball going above waist height. So that will be a free hit. Chance for Yogesh to free his arms and go for the big shot without any risk whatsoever. Can he able to exert full toll of the free hit that he will receive in shortly? Here comes Ronak. Oh, that's well kept again. That's a dot ball, and that's a good ball as well from Ronak. Comes back rather nicely. Bowls it across that fourth stump channel, induces an edge out of the batsman, and the keeper does well to stop it. So it is a dot ball, all said and done. Played rather with soft hands, will eventually pass the bowler and they will get a single. 66 for 4, Panchveer. Here is Ronak bowling to Mayur. Hit that in the air, but it's safe because it's landed well and short of the fielder. Another single added to the total, 139 required in 67 deliveries. It's been a good comeback from Ronak despite giving a boundary and two extras. It's just been three singles apart from those in the next four deliveries. So it's been a good bowling comeback after conceding a boundary so early into his over. Surely taking their time to set the field at this point. It is the end of the ninth over actually, and it's 70 for 4. Is it? No, there is still another delivery to go. Still another delivery to go here. Here comes Ronak. Gets a single. So that's the end of the ninth over. It's 71 for 4. The end of the ninth over, it's 68 for 4. Saurabh is the new bowler who's brought into the attack, and it is Yogesh who is the batsman on strike. The equation for Panchveer is that they need 138 runs in 66 deliveries. That's 11 overs. Here is a good forward front foot defense. Nothing doing, just a dot ball. Here is Saurabh. Again, beats him for pace. So that's once again back to back dot deliveries. Every dot ball increasing the pressure by leaps and bounds on the Panchveer batters. Here comes Saurabh once again. And once again, deceiving the batsman from with sheer pace, bowling it much faster than the batsman is expecting it to come to him. And here he comes once again. This time he picks his spot nicely, and that's gone to the boundary for 4. Deviates after taking a bounce. The fielder made a good run. He thought that he was in control of that, but then after the bounce, that ball just took a deviation and went away from the fielder. One bounce into the boundary for 4. So a much needed boundary this. Yogesh now moving on to double figures. He's currently on 10 of 12. Mayur is on 13 of 10. And here is Saurabh to bowl his fifth. Plays that rather gently down the legs for a single only. They were looking for two. And Ronak engaging in a little bit of showboating there. One more delivery to go in this over. Panchveer currently at 73 for 4. Saurabh to bowl the last ball of the 10th over. Here he comes. Mayur on strike. Hits it straight down the ground, and that's gone for another boundary. So he ends the over with a boundary. 9 runs coming off it. 10 overs done. Panchveer 77 for 4, and it's time for drinks. And the second half of this run chase now. Panchveer need 129 to win of 60. Required run rate just about under 13, 12.9 to be precise. And Mayur and Yogesh will be entrusted with the responsibility of taking them to the target. Will they be able to? Will they be able to conjure up something special? Or will Supernovas run away with victory? Here is Rahul to bowl his second over of the match. Yogesh, the batsman, on strike. Played nicely. There's fielder there in the deep. Will settle only for a single. Rahul marking his run up. Picks his spot nicely once again, but again there is protection out there in the deep. So once again will only be a single. Here is Yogesh to face Rahul. It's bowled quite nicely so far, just given away 6 runs and taken a wicket. Will be unfortunate that they've managed to give away a single. Will the Supernovas? Rahul will be a little upset that he wasn't able to cut that off at the source. But again, it's at that stage of the innings where singles will not hurt the Supernovas' cause a lot. Boundaries will. They're trying to give himself room for the cut. Misses it altogether. That's a dot ball. Errs in length a little, but there is a fielder there. So once again, that's another dot ball. Just 3 runs conceded so far. Rahul to bowl his final ball of the second over with Mayur the batsman on strike. Tries to go down the ground but will only get a single. It's the end of 11 overs. The Panchveer Cricket Club are 81 for 4. Saurabh to continue. Mayur the batsman on strike. It's a good ball first up, rushing the batters for pace. Will only get a single there. Not giving the batsman enough time before the ball is already before the batsman decides that he is ready to face the ball. Saurabh's already coming at you and is halfway through his delivery stride. There you go, once again dot and off, but this time it was straying down the offside for a wide. Here he comes. Tries to swivel and pull here, does Yogesh? But the fielder in the deep means that he only has to settle for one. Here he comes once again trying to swing for the hills. All he manages to do is get another single to the team total. Here is Saurabh once again. This time Yogesh takes the aerial route, and just when it felt like there was a catch on offer, fluffs his lines, and that goes to the boundary for four. There you can see he takes the aerial route, thought that there was a chance there, but no, it wasn't. And that goes to the boundary for another four. So one more ball to go at the end of this for the end of this over. We are into the 12th over. The Panchveer Cricket Club are 90 for 4, chasing 206 with only 6 wickets in hand and 8 overs to go after this. Here comes Saurabh. And that's gone. Wicket number 5 falls for Panchveer. That's as easy a catch as you can get. Deceived him in the flight. He was trying to go for the expensive drive above extra cover on the onside. Gets a toe edge straight to the fielder at point. And that is half the side gone for the for Panchveer. It's 90 for 5 at the end of 12 overs. Here is Rahul to continue. Yogesh picks up the aerial route but will only get a single. Ronak is the new batsman who's walked out into the middle. Panchveer losing half their side and 91 on the board. Hits it straight to the bowler, but it goes past him. Will be only a single though, and that is enough for Ronak to get off the mark. Here is Rahul to continue. Yogesh on 20 of 19. No connection whatsoever. This goes back straight to the bowler. Here is Yogesh, and that's been given as a no ball, and that has also gone away to the boundary for four. Well above the waist height, and that will be a free hit to follow for Yogesh as well, as has been signaled by the umpire. 97 for 5, Panchveer Cricket Club. Here is Rahul and Yogesh to face the free hit. Picks that up rather nicely, and that will also run away to the boundary for 4. And that brings up the 100 for the Panchveer Cricket Club. Nice, easy pickings there for Yogesh. Gets down on one knee and picks his slots rather nicely. Beats that fielder there at shot fine. And that races away to the fence. 4 more. So here is Yogesh once again, trying to build a little bit of momentum for him and his side with this back-to-back boundaries. Tries to play the cut, but it was a little too low. Well gathered by the keeper. Tries to go aggressive once again, but this time there is a fielder there. They do scamper across for a single. So it's the end of 13 overs. Panchveer 102 for 5. Here is Saurabh to bowl to Yogesh. Picks that spot nicely, and that is racing away. Does trickle away to the boundary for 4. Once again, picks his spot on one knee, just over that fielder, and that just about has enough to go to the boundary for 4. So good start to this over as well, getting a boundary first up. But they will need to continue. They will be needing more boundaries here. The number of boundaries in an over will be more. 14 to 15 runs every over is the need of the hour. Try to take a single, and they do reach. They do make their grounds respectively. So that will bring Ronak on strike. Oh, tried to catch that in one hand, but there is protection in the deep, so it will be just a single. Here is Saurabh once again. The run rate is now climbed to above 15 and over, the required run rate. Yogesh currently batting on 34 of 26. That's a good looking shot, but there is a fielder out there, so just a single. So three singles in a row after conceding a boundary in the first ball. Tries to pick his slot, but there's once again another single there down the ground. This time at this time towards long on. Yogesh plays that one nicely down the leg side. He's looking for two, and they will eventually make it rather comfortably. So 10 runs coming off this over. 14 overs gone. That's 112 for 5 at the Panchveer Cricket Club. Ronak will continue to bowl. He will be bowling his third over. He's given away 16 runs for his one wicket. Final 6 overs to go. 94 runs required for Panchveer to register an improbable victory. Ronak to Ronak gets it bottom edge, shy at the stumps, looking for the overthrows, and they will get them. So 2 runs taken. Ronak to continue. Here he comes. Swings and misses. That's a dot ball. So every dot ball will drastically increase the required run rate. That one dot ball taking that required run rate from 15.7 to now 16.2. So that is the effect that these dot balls are having on the run chase, which inevitably leads to scoreboard pressure, and that inevitably leads to the loss of a wicket more often than not. Here is Ronak. Once again, another swing and miss. That takes the required run rate to 16.7. Here is Ronak once again. And this time he picks his spot, but there is protection, so only a single. So just a 3 runs conceded in the 4 deliveries he's bowled so far. This time Yogesh is the batsman on strike. Oh, that's a huge appeal and given. He's caught plumb in front. So Yogesh has to depart. There, caught right in front. The ball kept low, in front of the stumps. Easy decision there for the umpire. Ronak gets his second wicket. Yogesh has to depart. And that is 115 for 6. Panchveer. Yogesh is the new batsman on strike. Here is Ronak to complete his third over. Agonizingly close there. Sent back, so no run. So it's 15 overs gone. Panchveer 115 for 6. Saurabh is handed the ball to bowl out. He's bowled 3 overs for his wicket and 28 runs given away. He'll be looking to finish his spell on a high. 91 read in 30 balls for Panchveer, but with only 4 wickets in hand now. That's straight up in the air, and Tay dropped. The bowler said it's mine. No one tried to come in the way of the bowler, and that was dropped. It was in the air for a pretty long time. The bowler thought he had it under control until he did not. Went in and out. So here's Saurabh once again on strike. Here's Saurabh to bowl, and this time it's Yogesh on strike. I beg your pardon. Again, nice loopy delivery, no run there. Saurabh to continue. This one's picked rather nicely, and that is dropped. Just when it felt like Sachin had it under control, that extra momentum meant that the ball blopped out of his hands, and that is two drop chances in the space of two deliveries of the same batsman. He did all the hard work, he covered the ground, he got to the ball, but was not able to gather it. Oh, that's a good ball. So, low full toss, just low enough to be deemed a legal delivery. Two more balls to go. Here is Ronak to face Saurabh. This one's a nice looking shot, and that's gone for four. One bounce into the rope. So a late flurry here. This time Ronak picks up the slot ball rather early, waits for it. Mighty swing of the arms. One bounce over the rope. So here is Saurabh to finish his spell. Swings and misses, so that's the end of 16 overs. Saurabh finishes with figures of 1 for 34 in his 3. The Panchveer Cricket Club, after 16, 121 for 6. 4 more overs to go. 85 runs required in 24. And it is Shahzad Shroff, to bowl out his quota of 4 overs. He's currently on 18 runs conceded for his 2 wickets after 3. Very good bowling performance from him as well. And it is Yogesh, the batsman, who's on strike. Plays it down the leg side towards the fine leg boundary. They're looking for 2 and they will get 2 rather comfortably. Here comes Shahzad once again. Is looking to go for the big shot but did not get the connection at all. Will have to eventually settle for just a single here, will Yogesh. Here is Shahzad to continue. Ronak, the batsman, on strike, preparing to face. Good ball, Yorker length, only a single. So here he comes, final 3 balls of his spell. Picks that one. Again, there is protection out there in the deep. Will only be a single. The Panchveer's batting innings did not really get going throughout the course of their innings. There were a couple of big hits along the way, but they were just not enough. And just when it felt at that point, when it was working out for them, they ended up losing that wicket of a key batsman, and that eventually set them back rather permanently. That's a good looking shot. Will only fetch him a single though. So the last ball of Shahzad's spell, he's been excellent. Just given away 24 runs and taken 2 wickets in the process. Those early strikes in his first over, setting the tone for this dominant defense of a formidable target. Here he is to bowl his final ball. That's in the air and taken. So Shahzad finishes his 4 over spell with a wicket. Yogesh is the batsman to depart on 5. The ball was there to be hit, but he did not get the distance, got the elevation, comfortable catch there for the fielder in the deep. 17 overs gone. Panchveer 127 for 7. So Mirant is the new batsman who's come on to the non-striker's end, and it is Sachin who's once again given the ball to bowl his second over of the match. Ronak is the batsman on strike. He's taken the edge, and that will find the boundary. Thick edge, flying over the fielder at short third, goes to the boundary for four. Is trying to hit at a completely different area of the pitch. Wouldn't mind that, but will be satisfied with the result as he gets four for it. So here is Ronak once again. Here comes Sachin to Ronak once again. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Right from the moment it hit the bat, you knew that was going just one way, and that's gone all the way for six. In the slot, Ronak giving him the charge, smack bang off the middle of the bat, and that made a sweet sound, and that has traveled over and over and out of the ground for six. So Ronak with a late burst of pyrotechnics with the bat, and we have a new ball. Sachin to continue after being clattered for 10 in his first two deliveries. And oh, that was marginally close to the stumps. Very, very close indeed. So that's a dot ball. 69 required in 15. Here is Sachin to continue. Hit that over the bowler's head, but there is protection in the deep. We'll have to settle for only a single. 68 required in 14. Mirant to face his first ball. Sachin plays it down the ground. Will he look for two? And they will get two. They will get a couple of runs there. So it's actually Bhavik who's a batsman on strike. Here's Mirant. Swings and misses. So it's the end of the 18th over. Panchveer 140 for 7. So we are in the final 2 overs of this match with Harpreet getting the ball. The result more or less determined, just all academic now. Oh, he's picked that one beautifully. So that's given a 6. So 66 required of so it's 60 required of 11 now. 10 sixes in 11 balls. Surely, surely that cannot happen. Oh, that was close to getting the stumps there. Are they going to look for two? They will eventually make it with ease. 58 required of 10. 10 hits of 10 balls. Ronak currently batting on 32 of 19. Here is Harpreet. Once again tries to pick it up but does not get the connection. Will only have to settle for a single. Here is Harpreet. Bowling to Mirant this time. Oh, that's picked nicely. And taken. So that is wicket number 8. Mirant goes. There's a good catch by the fielder in the deep. Harpreet gets among the wickets column. He did pick that rather nicely. That was a well-timed shot right to the middle of the bat, but it was timed too sweetly. The fielder didn't have to move an inch. Came right where he was standing. So Mirant has to depart for 2. Bhavik's the new batsman in. It's 149 for 8, Panchveer. Here is Harpreet bowling to Bhavik. He gets off the mark and brings Ronak on strike. So the 150 comes up for Panchveer among all this. The last ball of Harpreet's over. Ronak, the batsman, on strike. Was going for the big shot, but it is a dot ball. So it's 19 overs done. Panchveer 150 for 8. And it is Ronak who will bowl the final over of this match. 56 runs required to win. The result all but a formality. It has been a commanding performance by the Supernovas right from the very first ball with the bat. An excellent batting performance complemented by an equally professional bowling performance. And here is Ronak We'll have to bowl that one again. That's a wide, so a little bit of an anticlimax here towards the end of the match. So here is Ronak bowling to Bhavik. Nice dab towards that third man fielder for a single. Will bring Ronak on strike. So Ronak Singh bowling to Ronak Shah. Ronak versus Ronak here. Plays that one for a single across the ground to that fielder at cover. Here comes Ronak to Bhavik. Good looking shot. Will only get a single though. So three more balls in the innings left to go. Ronak currently batting on 34 of 22. Here comes Ronak Singh, who's taken 2 for 23. Oh, that is thumped. That is muscled for 6. That was a ferocious strike. Brilliantly executed this. Short ball, comes forward, gives the charge, clatters it with brute force, and that effortlessly finds the boundary for 6. Ronak moves on to 40 with that big hit. A good looking shot, and that goes for 4. So Ronak is on 44. There is one more ball to go. Can he get a big shot and reach his 50? 164 for 8. Last ball of the match. Ronak on 44. Here comes Ronak to Ronak. Oh, he tries to go for that big shot. We'll have to settle for a single, and it's all over. So the Supernovas have emerged victorious by 40 runs, and it has been a commanding and a comprehensive victory for the men in red. Batting brilliantly and bowled brilliantly. It has been an all-round effort. As far as Panchveer go, they did have their moments, but they weren't able to capitalize on them, and they will be left to rue what has been a rather comprehensive defeat for them tonight. The match result in this TSL fixture between the Supernovas and Panchveer, it was Supernovas who win by 40 runs. I've been Delvin. It's been a pleasure to take you through this game. Till next time, this is goodbye. Stay safe, stay healthy.